Welcome to another AMA with Kadena Ecosystem. In this episode, we'll be speaking with the team from Kadena Hashing. This conversation was recorded on February 22nd, 2023, live on Twitter Spaces. The views and expressions in this AMA do not represent the views of Kadena Ecosystem directly and are not to be considered as financial advice. Please make sure to do your own research on the projects presented. Also, make sure to follow our account to be alerted of new uploads. Now let's get started. Enjoy. Welcome everybody to another AMA with Kadena Ecosystem. Today we have back with us once again the Kadena Hashing crew. They've been hard at work getting together their mining farm, getting everything all set up, and I'm really excited to just catch up and see what they've been up to. So welcome. Happy to have you guys back.
Yep. Yeah, it's good to be here, man. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Welcome, both of you. So last time I spoke, I think you guys were just kind of breaking ground and getting your facilities all up and running. And it looks like now they're up and running. I've been seeing some really good progress there.
Yeah,
I gotta maybe just kind of go over that progress.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's been a godsend, honestly. That the way that things have worked out for us has really been. It's almost as if we planned it this way. But I got to be honest with you. The state of the farm when we got up there was not in a place where we thought it was supposed to be. So we had to take a step back and get to work. And take a larger role in getting it developed and everything, because we had an agreement with the owner that he would do X, and then we would take it from there. But when we got there, we just realized that it wasn't where we needed it to be. So Jay and I got to work. I brought Jay from Australia. He's come over here and volunteered his time, and he's been here for almost 3 months now. And the way that everything worked out, the release of the KA3s, Jay and I meeting up and becoming team members in this venture, and the backing and the support of the community has all just kind of fell right into place. And sure enough, as soon as the first KA3s arrived, we were in a position to plug them up and get them running. It took us about a week to fabricate the cords and the Ethernet cables and all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, Jay worked really hard during that week to get everything up and running. And yep, we're making, I don't know, a little over 2,000 coins a day right now. So it's nice.
Yeah, I saw when you posted that you guys were live and hashing. I even opened it up and watched the hash rate go from like 0 and start just work its way up, and it got up to a nice steady even flow now. It's been really good to watch. You guys have been really pumping it out. Yeah,
that's hilarious, because there's a lot of guys in our Discord that are a little bit addicted to watching that coin count and that hash rate. So yeah, it's good fun, man. And we've been lucky enough to some of our connections have been providing some fruit for us. We just got another 6 last night, another 6 K3s at a good price, probably the best price we've seen since the initial launch. So we've always had this strategy to kind of DCA into the miners, because sometimes you're going to get a better deal than other times. But yeah, it's rock and rolling, and the community support has just been awesome. The NFT sales are picking up, and it's a great time to be alive, honestly.
Now, what are you guys at right now for miners? I think last time I saw you broke the 70 mark.
Yeah, we've got 81 KA3s. We have 30 K1 Max, 7 KD Lite, and 1 KD Max.
Wow, that's just pumping away.
Yeah.
Now, do you find
around
like
13 petahash or so? Jay can correct me if I'm wrong there.
Yeah, we're at about, everything's not online yet, but we're at about 13 petahash now. We've still got some K1 Maxes and that to bring online, but yeah, it's ticking along, not too bad. I think, yeah, 13 on the dot.
Now, I've never spoken to you before, Jay. How did you find your way into Kadena Hashing and into the team? What's the story there?
Yeah, I was poking around a few of the Discords and met a few different members from across different projects. You got Hive and It was only up Capital, and that was sort of the main ones where I met who I met. And in crypto, which she started modding and doing the Discord over there at Kadena Hashing, so I was asked to go over there and help, and I met Mike and we got talking, and I offered to give a hand, so I ended up coming over here and building the farm.
You enjoying your time down there? You guys are in Texas, correct?
Yeah, we're in Texas. Yeah, I don't mind it. Where we are, it doesn't feel like I'm on the other side of the world, but no, it's everyone's been good, and Mike and his wife been looking after me, and which she comes out and sees me every now and then, and I've made some good friends. It's been good.
Awesome. Did you have an experience in like a background in mining or anything before this, or because I see that you're doing a lot of the technical setup and the wiring and things like that. Do you have a background in that?
Actually, no, I don't. I'm self-taught. I was right into my GPU mining. Really enjoyed that, and I went into the ASIC side. Bought a KDA light off Mike actually before Kadena Hashing, and a few other people with miners and that. But I just taught myself over a couple of years, and I actually come from I've worked underground in the mines for a lot of years, and in outback Queensland as well, doing different things. So, but a bit of a career change, I guess you could say, and I sort of enjoy it. So, yeah.
Yeah, he went from one kind of mining to a completely different kind of mining. But I gotta speak for Jay here a little bit and tell you guys just how amazing this guy is. He's the equivalent of 10 hands in physical labor, and has the smarts to back it up. He simply just taught himself everything there was to know. When he got here, our electrical system is completely different than Australia's. And so we had some hired electricians to come over and do some work. And Jay literally just stood beside the guy and quizzed him the whole time so that he could learn the system. And now he's got it down pat. So Jay has been truly a godsend for our project, so much so that we're bringing him on to full-time staff. So we hope to have him in the States a lot more in the future.
Sounds like you may have found yourself a new home, Jay.
No, I think I found my spot in the crypto scene. I sort of like doing this side of things,
I'm sure the atmosphere and stuff in Texas probably isn't too much different from Australia. It's nice warm weather, things like that.
Yeah, well, it's been pretty cold, but it's all right, it's not too much different, really. I guess you could say. Yeah, talk a bit funny.
Yeah, except for the cold snaps, right, Jay?
Yeah, no, I suffered a bit there. I will admit. It was proper cold, so yeah.
Oh, Texas cold snaps are nothing compared to where I am. Tonight, in the next 24 hours, I'm expecting over a foot of snow. So, just be lucky that's not what you're going to have to wake up to in the morning.
Are you up towards Canada? Are you up towards Canada somewhere?
I am in Canada. Yeah.
Yeah, I could pick your accent.
Yeah, it's definitely a different world up here in some senses. That's for sure, especially in the winter. But I'm sure if I had a mining farm, it'd be a lot better up here in the winter. Just save a little bit on some costs for keeping the temperature down. Just open up the door and let the cold air in.
Yeah,
let the hot air out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's talk a little bit more about this facility, because people are very interested on how people are running these mining farms. Can you maybe go over, because I'm sure we've mentioned this before, and I know you've said it before, but I'm sure people are always interested in these facts of what makes your mining farm so great? How are you powering it? What kind of cool little aspects do you have? Things like that.
Sure. Yeah, I'll start, and Jay can fill in any technical details if he wants. But we got really lucky with this facility. There was a guy that I was selling miners to, started to build this facility out in the bull run against my advice, by the way. But he wanted to buy miners. So at the end of the day, if he wanted to buy them, I'd sell them. But if anyone always asked my advice, I always gave them the honest truth. And we were probably about 4 to 5 months away from capitulation, or the top, I should say. And, I knew the time was coming. Nobody knows exactly when, but according to the cycle, I kind of knew when it was coming and told him it probably wasn't the best idea. Anyways, he moved forward, and sure enough, before he finished the facility, the bottom fell out, and he had spent all of his capital on smaller miners also against my advice. And basically couldn't run it. It needed a transformer, which was about $76,000. And, it was just kind of a bare bones building that was kind of halfway built out. And I told him I was willing to pay for the transformer, and basically we worked out a deal. So I paid for the transformer and have done a lot of work since. But for that we got 2 years rent free. Our actual electric rate is 0.039. All in, it comes to about 6 cents per kilowatt hour, which is phenomenal these days. And even better, the facility is powered by wind. It's there's several gigantic wind farms in Texas, and this particular facility is in one of those grids. So we even drove out, and Jay and we drove out to where the wind turbines were, and there was just hundreds of them, giant things, and they're producing hundreds of megawatts of power, and we're the recipient of 2.5 megawatts of that generation. So that's really cool from the economic aspect of it. And once we got in there and we started, what goes into building a farm, you can know I don't care how long you've mined for. If you've never actually went in and built out the airflow system of a farm, or done all of what needs to be done, it's largely a giant experiment. Because if you search for these things online, you can find some information, little bits and pieces here and there, but nobody really has a blueprint of how exactly to do it. You just kind of have to piece it together yourself. And the owner did the best that he could when he was building out this facility. But since we've got in there and actually started hooking up these, I like to call them little miniature nuclear power plants, because they get that hot. We've decided, we've found that there's lots of things we would have done differently. But all these things said, you can always mitigate these issues by increasing airflow and doing different things. The problem is it runs into, more money you're going to put into a facility that you don't own. So we don't own that facility, right? We have 2 years rent free at this place because of the deal I worked out with him. So we've already got plans to get ourselves one of those mining pods. They're basically plug in ready. You just run some electricity to them, plug them in, stick your miners in there. The hot wall's already laser cut to fit the particular miner that you want to put in there, and you're off to the races. It's just that simple. You turn on the airflow, boom, it's done. So we're really excited about that. Jay and we're gonna go check out one of those real soon. But yeah, I mean, it's just like a work in progress. It's always, it's always something to do around the farm. That's why we can't wait to get Jay back. He came over on a 90-day visa. And that's about to expire. So we don't want him to violate that and not be able to come back. So he's got to go back to Australia early next month, and then hopefully we'll get him back pretty soon. Keep building.
I think one of the coolest things I saw of your build was that you guys decided, like you said, airflow is definitely key. And it looks like you guys took out a whole section of wall and replaced it with 2 giant fans. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah, we knew early on when we looked at that, we said, that's just not going to cut it. So yeah, we just got out the saws and went to work, man. And cut out the holes and, made the adjustments.
Yeah, people are like, oh, like just go buy a bunch of fans from like Walmart or something and face them on the miners. But like they have no idea that when it comes to those kind of things, it's not blowing air on the things, it's sucking the hot air out. That's the most
Right.
important, really. Is
Yeah.
having that flow, bringing in the cool air and sucking out the hot air. Because if you don't suck out the hot air, you're not doing anything. You're just blowing hot air around in your room and not really doing anything.
Yeah, some people
it's
may
more
think
that
that in Texas, why would you do a mining farm in Texas because it gets so hot here? But the actual fact of the matter is that these miners get up to 70, 80, 90 degrees Celsius inside. And even hot air, as long as it's fresh, will cool these miners down and allow them to operate. They're built to withstand a lot of heat. They have large heat sinks on the inside of them that help to dissipate the heat. These things can handle some really hot temperatures. So the key is to replace the air with fresh and then exhaust that air as quickly as possible and as many times per minute as you can. So therefore you need to have lots and lots of thousands and thousands of CFM.
Let's just hope that Bitmain's not using that cheap Chinese thermal paste that I used to buy off Amazon when I used to do Xbox Red. I used to do, you remember the old Xbox 360 red ring of death problem where it would like stop working and cause the red ring? I used to fix that. So the problem was that you take the heat sink off the CPU and then you just reheat the CPU to reflow the solder. And usually that would fix it. And all the times I found like they used the crappiest freaking thermal paste on these things. And I was like, no wonder they burnt out. Like you're using like pretty much, you might as well just put Vaseline on the damn thing and hook the sink back on. It was so shoddy, but I'm sure Bitmain's a little bit smarter and they want to make sure that people aren't, getting like a couple months out of their miner and then sending it back and getting all pissed off at them. They seem to produce, they are the number one producer of ASIC miners in the world. So very definitely was a good idea though to wait out for those. It was just a kind of a shame that they had that delay, but it sounds like the delay in shipping kind of worked out for the benefit for you guys.
It honestly did. Yeah, and I wanted to say something about Bitmain. I started mining back in 2017 and I bought a bunch of those S9s. They were the most powerful Bitcoin miner on the market back then. I think we paid $11,000 each for them, some crazy number. But back then, you could expect about a 10 to 15% fail rate from Bitmain. So I can only imagine the logistical nightmare that they had to deal with in terms of support. So over the years, they've certainly gotten better. I mean, they build a solid machine. They're pretty crappy in their business practices, but there's no doubt about it. They build a solid machine. And I got to say something else. We found that IB Link, honestly, if they could compete in the hash rate department and the efficiency, they build a really solid miner. Gold Shell, crap. Most of their stuff has been crap. It really can't put up with any abuse whatsoever. But Bitmain and IB Link are two solid machines.
Yeah, I think I kind of found that from just hearing around the community that the gold shell miners are more of like a craft hobby miner kind of at home kind of thing. For the people that aren't really serious about it and just kind of want to do it for the sake of doing it. I actually have an old V9 amp miner sitting on a shelf over in the corner of my room that's been collecting dust for a few years.
A V9. Wow.
Yeah. Like we're talking an old script miner. I think it's script.
You mean an Atari?
Yeah, pretty much that's what it is now. The cell phone I'm holding could probably mine more Bitcoin than it can nowadays.
Oh,
but yeah, no, it's it's neat to see these things too. Now, like when it comes,
you should keep that, man. It's going to be an antique. Yeah, you should display that. I'd like to have it in our farm just for display.
Yeah, I'm keeping it. It's definitely something that I'll be putting on the shelf, and then people will be like, "What's that?" I'll like, "That's what people used to mine Bitcoin with back in the day."
Hell yeah, that's great.
It'll be interesting to see. But no, I'm glad to see that you guys are like really getting going here. And I was reading through that you guys are starting to even do tests for payouts. So that's very exciting as well. How has that been going?
Super exciting. Yeah, we did a test payout yesterday. It worked right up until it didn't. But we think we've identified the issue. When a car doesn't crank, what's the first thing you should check, right? Is the gas. So it appears as if though somehow the contract was charging more gas than what it was supposed to. So we ran out of gas, and I think the script just stopped working. So we're gonna circle back tomorrow and have a closer look at it and do another test run tomorrow. But that's why we do these tests, so that we make sure everything's hunky dory. And if all works out, yeah, we'll be paying out in 35, 40 days or so. I don't know. We're just waiting on our first electric bill to announce the date.
Now, it also seems like you guys have been rocking on the NFT sales even. I see that your top tier, the max tier, has been completely sold out, which is absolutely amazing. Obviously, people saw the best bang for the buck and went right for that. So that's really cool to see.
Yeah, it was one of the perks, too, of being an early supporter. The benefits for the max was, slightly outweigh all the rest, especially on the kicker side of things. And, for the people that were around early that supported us and have been so patient with us and so great in our community, they got to get one of those. I get at least a message a day asking me either in DM or support ticket, yo, you got any of those maxes you want to sell? And unfortunately the answer is no. That's it, they're gone. That's it forever, no more maxes. So but yeah, even the pros have really picked up lately. We're starting to sell a lot more, which is it's all just happening just beautifully. It's perfect timing. We're going to actually some of your people here probably don't know this because we haven't announced it officially in an announcement or on Twitter yet, but we're going to be wrapping up this mint in about 2 months or so. So whenever we know that exact date, we'll post that out, and then after that, that's it. The NFTs are going away, and we're going to focus on what we've got, and we'll know which direction in which we need to head at that point.
Well, that's very interesting. So you still have, according to I love your little NFT remaining bots that you have in your Discord. Just such a great way for people to be able to track everything and a great way to show transparency in the project as well. You got your mining rewards, your treasury, NFT profits, all that kind of stuff just laid out nice and simple for everyone to see. So that's really cool. But you still got a good amount of pros left and lots of lights left. So hopefully people can get in on that. Now, I also read that you guys are also trying to still work on getting credit card kind of fiat payments for the NFT set up as well. Is that still in the plans, or have we hit
That's
some roadblocks?
Tomorrow. We're testing that tomorrow. We had enabled CrossMint at one point, but we've had nothing but trouble with those guys, and I decided to go ahead and just switch. So we've switched now to paper, and we're supposed to be testing that tomorrow. If the pay run, we're going to be testing the pay run again, and if everything goes smoothly with that, we'll probably immediately switch to credit card and test that, and it'll be ready to go.
That's awesome. That'll definitely probably open it up to a lot more people who aren't already really in Kadena specifically, but want to get into earning like perpetual rewards, basically in a very simple, easy manner. And hopefully those people will download a Koala wallet and use it to store their NFTs because support's coming very soon. So, including Kadena Hashing NFTs. So it's going to be very interesting to see.
Yeah, we've had a bit of a with the hash rate type NFT projects out there, and I've got nothing against those guys whatsoever. I wish them all the best of luck, but it's really been prominent, especially with the popularity of Kadena Mining Club. So a lot of people just don't really understand a percentage based system, and the difference is really in that people get to grow with us. As opposed to being given, whatever 3 terahash or whatever it is, and then having to pay, out of pocket to refresh that, to upgrade it, or whatever. So we've built our system to basically say that you're going to grow with us, and when you're on a percentage-based system, as we continue to reinvest back into the success of Kadena Hashing. As an entity, then everyone's going to benefit the from that growth. And yeah, that's basically the difference between us and the rest. So it's just a matter of people spending a little bit of time to read and get their mind wrapped around it. But the people that do get it, we've got a lot of great people in our community that just love us to bits, and we love them. And I just couldn't be more blessed with the awesome people that we've attracted into our community.
Yeah, your community's definitely grown a lot since just since the last time we spoke. You guys are up like almost was it 5,700 followers on Twitter. Your Discord's up over 1.4K. So like you guys are really pumping along there. Like you obviously like you can just tell by just going into your Discord. All the channels are active. People are always in there talking, and you guys are definitely like I see Jay's in there. You're in there all the time. So if people ever have any questions, definitely click on the profile here in the space and join their Discord, and just they're always there to talk. Very open community, and if you have any questions, I'm sure everyone there would be more than happy to answer them.
I'm glad you said that. It's funny because I've heard a time or two that we've been labeled a cult. It's hilarious. But what we really are is a bunch of like-minded people that's very passionate about what we're doing. And it comes off sometimes, I guess, as people are just like so super dedicated. But, that's a good thing. And anybody out there can be part of that community. You don't have to buy an NFT. Just come in. There's channels for you to ask about mining or show us your mining rig setup. We love miners. We love talking about mining. So it's not all about buying NFTs and all that kind of good stuff, but we're a good bunch of people that really care about everybody's success in this industry, and Kadena especially. So yeah, come give us a visit and give us a shout.
Now, looking into the future, let's say after your 2 years are up, are you looking at maybe renewing a contract with the facility you're at right now? Or are you planning on possibly taking like treasury funds or something to start your own separate building or farm? Or like you said, you're going to be looking into these hash pods, things like that. Could you maybe explain a little bit more about what a hash pod is? Because I've seen them before, but a lot of people listening may have no idea what those are.
Yeah, well, the mining pods are basically, if you can envision a storage container that's on rail cars. It's something in very similar shape as that, and what they've done is just kind of hollow it out, retrofit it, put in all the infrastructure that's needed to run miners. And trust me, there's a lot needed. From disconnects and step downs and PDUs and all kinds of things that go into running these machines. What they've basically done is retrofitted it all and made it just ready for you to set the miner in there, and you run the raw power to it, and you plug it in. It's already got the airflow in there and everything else. So it's really an amazing setup. They can be a little costly, but honestly, if you do the math and you work out, like if I had this thing full of KA3s right now, it would only take like a couple of months to pay off. So, I mean, if you're looking at it from that perspective, it's really not that bad of an investment. And they're just really, really awesome pieces of equipment. That's why we're going to go and check one out in person to make sure that, Jay knows all the equipment that he's looking for and everything. We make sure that it's all top quality stuff before we even think about going in that direction. But as far as the future is concerned, that's one of the reasons we're concluding our mint is because, and it's only nature in crypto, right? People want to wait until they see our higher ROIs before they make a decision to come in. But the fact of the matter is that I personally launched Kadena Hashing in the bear market for a reason. The reason is because it's the best time to buy miners and not get wrecked. So if we simply waited until the ROI got better, that means additionally that the miner prices are out of reach. Then they're starting to charge ridiculous prices for them. So it's a little difficult for us to figure out exactly in which direction we're going to go because we haven't concluded the mint. But once we've concluded the mint and we know exactly what we have to work with, then some plans will be discussed and built out and shared with everyone. But I can tell you that yes, we are looking into getting our own land. It just all according to how the rest of the mint goes. I've already started spotting out some land, but we will probably remain at this facility even past the 2-year mark because um, it was built into the lease that we get the option to renew, and basically the rent is 1% of what we mine. I mean, it's incredible. So with the electrical infrastructure already there, it would not make a lot of sense to just abandon that place. Probably wouldn't be too fair to the owner as well, but yeah, so we'll probably always maintain a presence at that place. But yeah, we're looking into getting our own property and completely 100% removing all counterparty risk. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. I tell you what, let's circle back in 3 months, uh, and I'll be happy to share those plans with you at that point.
Yeah, time always is the of the essence and the thing that really seems to weigh it. Hopefully, in those 3 months, we'll see a little bit of a better uprise. Seems like the markets are slowly kind of either leveling out, they don't, or slightly starting to take off a little bit. But nowadays a 10% move in Bitcoin and people think the next bull run started. So
That's right.
it's hard to judge that nowadays. And then you get people that are like, "Oh, Bitcoin went up 10%, but Kadena didn't really go up much. Why is Kadena
Oh my
such a
gosh.
shitcoin?" And it's just like, oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
It's like you
I
need to
listen.
zoom out.
I know it took me a long time, but I really that kind of stuff. I'm just like, all right, next. I just don't even pay any attention to it. Look, when you're thinking about investment, you can moon boy all day long. You can go out and find all kinds of coins that will probably pump harder, faster. But it's all speculation, right? And good luck trying to get out and not letting greed take over and all that kind of good stuff. But when you're making real investments, I mean, sure, you would take some of your side capital and go play those games if you like. But if you really want to get wealthy over time, then you have to look at good fundamentals. And there's no doubt about it that Kadena has the best fundamentals of any other crypto project online in terms of blockchain. So if the fundamentals are there, then you can feel pretty confident in your decision to participate in that ecosystem, and that's exactly why we chose Kadena.
Yeah, I kind of feel like after the ICO craze kind of ended with all these tokens that came out and all that kind of stuff, that people just started thinking that the hype is more important than the actual foundation of a project. And that's kind of sad. That's what people want now. People want the flashy hype, for you to spend all this money on marketing and stuff like that, instead of like looking at the fundamentals of a project, looking at a team behind it. Especially like you got these people that are buying all these tokens and things that don't even have their own blockchains and have no real use case besides just besides just pumping people's bags. And stuff like that is not sustainable. It's not going to last the long haul like things like Bitcoin, Litecoin, all these other coins, and hopefully Kadena will do. It's people really need to step back and kind of stop letting their wallets do the thinking for them, and kind of let their brains do a little bit more of the work.
Yeah, that's very true. Historically, this year we're in is pretty much going to be a neutral market. I think it'll probably wind up the year a bit higher than the way it began, but next year is when the real fireworks are going to begin. And even then, look, I'm in Kadena for the long term. Of course I have plans to sell off some of the investment and stuff like that, and ROI, and who doesn't, right? In the next bull run, but I think Kadena is on track to really make a splash, probably two bull runs from now. That doesn't mean they're not going to do great in this next one. But with the way that the Kadena team operate, I think that during this next bull run, they're going to make a lot of capital to be able to reinvest back into the program. They put a lot of emphasis on doing things right and legal, and that's great. So yeah. But what is 10 years from now? When you look at it, where were you 10 years ago? And look how fast that went by. 10 years is nothing but a blip. And I know myself, the older I get, the faster the years seem to go. So, especially when we're doing something we like and enjoy, which we're doing now. But yeah, in 10 years, it's nothing but a blip, man. And, a lot of projects will have come and gone, but Kadena Hashing has full intentions on being here 10 years, 20 years from now and still mining that coin. So, who knows where the price of Kadena is going to be, but I can promise you one thing, it's already trending this way, and I predicted it in my white paper. There's going to come a time, and I don't know exactly when, but there's going to come a time when you'll no longer be able to mine a single Bitcoin or a single Kadena coin in a day with the most powerful miner there is. That time is coming, but right now these machines are spitting out Kadena by the thousands. So you have to have a long-term perspective and look down the road and say, what are these thousands of coins going to be worth down the road if I can just kind of put them away and let this ecosystem mature. So yeah, that's the way I think, and I know it's hard for people to look that far down the road, but I can attest that there are still some very smart people around because we have them in our community. They've been just a great bunch that's been nothing but patient with us, and yeah, I just can't say enough good things about the people we've attracted to our Discord.
Well, it's obviously like-minded people that see things the same way, and aren't in it for the quick buck, and are in it for see it for what it is, and are playing the long game, and that's the game you have to play with crypto. Unless you're one of those, joining a pump signal group and chasing down all the tokens on these little small exchanges that are you don't know where they're even based from, and you're giving them your KYC and all this information, and it's just like, why bother doing those kind of things, for the possibility of maybe turning, either turning 10K into 100 or turning 10K into 0. It's literally flip of a coin at that point when you're chasing those kind of things.
It's a real addiction, the green candle syndrome. Hell, I don't even know if that's what I just made that up. But when you invest in something and you get a real green candle just flaring and you make all this money, and maybe you don't even cash it out. Maybe you watch it go right back to zero or back to your original investment. But that has a tendency to hook people. And I'm not gonna lie. But I didn't know anything about Kadena. I bought a KD5 and shoot, I started making a little money, and I said, well, I'll buy another one. And 2 months later, those machines were spitting out $1,000 bills every day, and I was like, "Oh my God, what is this coin?" So and then I started doing my own research. So it's very powerful. Money is a powerful motivator, and green candles and the like. But it's it helps you to really narrow down. You have to know junk is junk, and good fundamental coins is good fundamental coins. There's risks in all of them, but this is the kind of ecosystem that you want to become a part of in order to do some actual investing as opposed to some degen type stuff.
You also kind of have to keep this in mind too. Those machines, like the KA3s and stuff, are still spitting out $1,000 a day as long as you can hold on to the coins long enough.
Exactly. Amen.
That's really what it comes. That's what it comes down to. Like I always had this saying when people are always like, oh, why do you buy just small amounts and stuff like that? I say, well, it's pennies today for dollars tomorrow. Like that's the way I see it. I'm buying for pennies now so that I can have dollars in the future.
Exactly.
That's the only way you can really look at crypto when it comes down to it. You got to try to be involved, and unless, like I said, unless you're a dream tracer or something like that, and really like risking things, then yeah, go for it. Go wild. Make all the accounts you want and give up all the money you want, chasing down that 1,000 time crap coin that no one's ever heard of before. And once it pumps, it'll just drop right back down to nothing. And then, if you'll be lucky if you caught the wave, and if
that's
not,
right. You're lucky if you pulled the trigger to get out and profit.
Yeah, exactly. It's quite a scary thing, but at least with things like you guys, that people have options now as opposed to just buying coins and sit on it. They can buy into Kadena Hashing and have perpetual coins coming in. for that set amount of money. So it's really kind of a no-brainer for people, really, when you think about it. Like I said, pennies now for dollars tomorrow.
Yeah, just to put that in perspective, we're probably mining somewhere in the neighborhood of, I said 2,000 earlier, but I think it's more around 1,800 coins a day. And so let's say that's $1,800 and some change per day, nothing, right? But at Kadena's all-time high, that's over $50,000 a day that this farm is making currently, and we're not done scaling yet. So I mean, it's just, you just have to think about it a little bit and kind of work out the math. You know what I mean? It's pretty simple math. And just kind of open your horizons and do some simple math there and figure out, let's say if it goes to half of its all-time high, well, that's still a boatload return for your initial cost. So it's just a matter of whether people see it or not. But we're happy to offer people the option. Mining is not as, especially on an industrial scale, it's not as easy as it sounds. You can buy a miner and hook it up to your dryer, 220 volt, and put an Ethernet cord and make some coin. But when you start talking about hundreds of these things, and you just can't imagine the heat and the different infrastructure that's involved until you actually get in there and start doing it. So we're happy to be able to do that for people, and provide this option for them. So it's really cool. I mean, we're just one of few that have taken an NFT concept and turned it into a little piece of utility where you can kind of get different uses out of it, and also get some return rather than it just being some art piece. But this is just starting. I mean, there's going to be many more. In fact, be careful during the next bull run. They're going to come out from every corner and say that their NFT is going to moon and all this kind of good stuff. So the scam last bull, it was nodes and whatnot. This next bull is going to be these NFT projects and everything. But we're happy that at least we were able to build trust with the community over the last 6 months, and now that payouts are fast approaching, there won't be any other reason for anyone to not participate in the program and to the protocol. So that's another reason we're going to wrap up the mint, because as a business you need to know exactly what you have to work with in order to make decisions, so that you don't start something that you can't complete or whatever and you wind up wasting a bunch of money. So that's just kind of where we're at right now.
I'd like to thank everyone again for joining, and I'd definitely like to welcome Kadena Hashing to come back again sometime, and I'd be more than happy to catch up with you, but I'm going to be ending the stream there. So thank you everyone for joining, and have a great day.
That wraps up another amazing AMA. Thank you for listening. Here at KPN, we strive to bring an open platform for projects being built on Kadena to present themselves to the community. Please ensure to do your own research on each project before investing. Also ensure to follow us on all our social media, from Twitter to subscribing to our weekly newsletter, to ensure to keep up to date on everything KDA related. You can find all the links in the description below. Take care.